Don't stop now. Reaching for a distant star. Don't stop now. Isn't it strange to how we're safe at home? Till the counting days until a second go. If you're gonna make a change, you have to let me know. Turn this shit around, just out of top the yards. It's all you need to do. Reaching for a distant star. Don't stop now. Isn't it strange how we're safe at home? Till the counting days until a second go. If you're gonna make a change, you have to let me know. Turn this shit around, just out of top the yards. It's all you need to do. Don't stop now. Reaching for a distant star. Don't stop now. Isn't it strange how we're safe and home? So that I counting days until a second glow. If you're gonna make a change, you have to let me know. Turn the shit around without a doubt belongs. It's all you need to do. Don't stop now. Reaching for a distant star. Don't stop now. Isn't it strange how we're safe and home? So that I counting days until a second glow. If you're gonna make a change, you have to let me know. Turn the shit around without a doubt belongs. It's all all you need to do.
What's going on, guys? We are Tottenham TV here. Good morning to everyone out there and welcome back to Good Morning Tottenham. Obviously, we won 2-0 at the Tottenham Hotspur Stadium last night against Brentford. And we'll get into the match review and stuff in a minute. But how we're going to structure this one today, we're going to go through every word that Antonio Conte said last night in his press conference. Then we're going to get into a bit of a match review. We'll do the goal reviews as well. And then we'll look ahead to Sunday's game against Norwich in a match preview. Already we've got a super chat even before we've come on today, so let's start the day as we mean to go on. And this one's from Dark Sun G, and it says, if West Ham loses to the Blues and we beat Norwich, we are in fourth with a game in hand. Also, besides Liverpool, our fixtures are winnable: Norwich, Brighton, Leicester, Liverpool, Palace, Southampton and Watford. Not a bad. Chelsea win this weekend and we win, into fourth with a game in hand.
Arsenal playing Everton away.
But they play on the Monday, so we can forget about that for now.
Yeah, exactly, put that in the back burner.
But, once we play Norwich, we'll be level games with Arsenal, won't we?
Yes, and we'll be above them.
Yeah.
If we win.
Yeah. But look, let's go into. First of all, I want to big up Carl Patrick Vineyard last night. We met him at the stadium. Absolutely top lad. He put a picture of us on social media, so check that out. And let's get into Antonio Conte's press conference.
Hi everyone, if you'd like to raise your hand if you'd like to ask a question, please. We will start with Paul Gilmore, please.
Hi, Antonio. Antonio, what was different tonight compared to the defeat in Slovenia last week?
The difference was before of all the final result, because today we won in Slovenia. It was a really bad defeat for everyone, and I think that you can learn a lot more than about the loss than win. But for sure, the defeat hurts us against Mura, and today a good win. To get 3 points is not easy against Brentford, and I have seen a good team, well organized, very dangerous in set pieces. But today we showed a great desire to get 3 points, great desire to win, and we fight to win the tackle, and we were very concentrated, and for sure we can improve, and we have a lot of space for improvement in possession. Without the ball, I think we did very well, because we put pressure from the start until the end, and I want to see this without the ball, and to press the ball, and to make difficulty to our opponent to play the ball, and but for sure we have to continue to work and to improve in many aspects.
Thanks, Paul. Alistair Gold, please.
Hi there, Antonio. Congratulations on the victory. Can I ask you about Oliver Skipp's performance tonight, what you made of it and what you've made of Oliver since you arrived at the club?
Skip played a really good game. in the same way with the other teammates. And I think this player is very young. He has really a lot space for improvement. He played with a great intensity, with great passion, with the heart, with the soul. And I think it was important because for me, he doesn't care if he's only 21 years old and who deserves play. And today he played well. And I think that I can improve him a lot in possession technically, and to look before they play that they have to do. But we are talking about an important prospect, and I'm very happy. I'm very happy for him. But now he has to continue in this way.
Thanks, Alistair. Charlie Eccleshare, please.
Just staying with Oliver, it looked like he was playing slightly more advanced or a bit more creatively. Was that something you talked about before the game?
Sorry, I didn't understand.
On Skippy,
Skippy, yeah.
On Skippy, it looked like
no,
he was playing.
I didn't. Yeah, I didn't understand the topic, no, and for Skippy,
sure.
Yeah, but for sure, and he has to improve with the ball, no, in possession, and this player without the ball, he works very, very hard, and to have him in the midfielder together, Obi, is very important. For sure, the part that he has to improve with the ball. But I think that in one month, I have seen a lot of improvement about Skippy, and is a player that he wants to improve. And I think that the present and the future, it depends of him. If we want to become a top midfielder, he could become a top midfielder, but he has to work. He has to continue to work, and he has this will, this desire to become an important player for Tottenham, and for the present and for the future. For the future.
Thanks, Charlie. Dan Kilpatrick, please.
Hi, Antonio.
I'm not,
Dan can't hear you. It's incredibly quiet.
Do you think you benefited from the postponed Burnley game, from having an extra day on the training ground? Was that helpful in preparing for this game?
Yeah. I think that don't play against Barley. We were disappointed because we wanted to play, but I think Premier League made the best decision for to save the players for the fans. But in one hand, in the other hand, I think that to have the possibility to have a training session was important, because we worked together, and we worked under physical aspect, under tactical aspect, and it was very, very important for us. And I have to be honest to tell you that we exploited this situation, because every single moment that we have to exploit, and to try to improve, to try to bring my philosophy into the mind of my players.
Okay, and the final one, Nick Ames, please.
Hi, Antonio.
Hi.
The second goal was a really fantastic move, really nice ball from Harry, great run from Region, and then a great cross and finish. Was that exactly the kind of football that you want your team to play on a regular basis?
But I think that we have to be good and in both situations. When we have a space, in this case, I think this team is very good, because in front we have players with quality, but at the same time fast players, very good, to exploit the space in one end. In the other end, I think that we have to try to improve when we find we don't find space to move better the ball, to find the right solution, because during the training session we'll have a training session to find the right solution in both situations, with space and without space. And I think with the space, this team has the characteristic to exploit this situation. Without space, I think we have to improve. But in the second goal, I think our players showed the great quality, and Harry made a fantastic play, and to send Sergio, and then Sergio made a fantastic ball for Son.
Thank you, guys. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much.
All right, so that was every word Antonio Conte said in his press conference last night, and very interesting comments on Skip, wasn't it?
Definitely.
Because, he's talking about how good he is off the ball, the energy that he brings, the sheer work rate that he produces, but can improve on his on the ball.
Which we've always said that about Skippy. Off the ball, he's one of the best in the team, isn't he? We know that that what he provides in terms of protection for the back four, work rate, passion, is second to none probably in our squad. On the ball, I think he's got quality. He just needs to, look, he's still, how old is he? 20, 21. Like, he's got a lot of time to develop, doesn't he? And to be a top midfielder, as Conte said, in the Premier League at that level, you need to have like supreme quality on the ball, ability to dictate a game, to play forward passes, through balls, things like that, and dictate the tempo. And
he started doing that last night.
Yeah,
because, a few balls went through. One that was for Harry Kane, 1-on-1. There was another one for Harry Kane, which is a bit of a harder chance for Harry Kane, but
one where he rolled it across the face for goal. For
yeah. So there was quite a few moments last night where Skip actually showed improvement in that section.
100%. I think he definitely was more progressive than we usually look to see Skippy.
And he was playing in like a bit further forward than Højbjerg yesterday.
Which is interesting, because usually Højbjerg is the one who plays the box-to-box, but it seemed to be Skip who was the one getting a bit further forward, albeit Højbjerg was there at the back post when he hit the side netting. But Skippy was definitely the one looking to push the ball forward a lot more yesterday, and look, he's still got a way to improve a few times. He was hitting passes and overhitting them and going out of play, but by and large, his passing and his quality was pretty good, and they were improving, especially from an offensive point of view, taking more risks on the ball and things like that. So look, we've been very excited about Skip ever since he broke into the team. And I see him only going one way, and that's upwards. I only see him getting better. The way he conducts himself, his professionalism.
Bit of an air of Harry Kane about it.
Yeah.
The way he conducts himself, the way he works hard. The stories that we hear about him on the training ground from the managers and stuff, how he's one of the hardest workers. A bit of an air of Harry Kane about him in terms of that sense, isn't there?
Yeah, and he has a lot, but he's very mature. We always said, didn't we, when he was even 18 playing in games, how mature he was on the pitch. And I think when it comes to off the ball, I think like his ability to read the play, like read passing lanes and get close to players and get tackles in is fantastic. I really think he's really great at that. So he's just become an all-round midfielder, and I think he's getting towards that. He's not right just there yet, but he's moving in the right direction. And I think Conte definitely, if he listens to Conte, for sure he'll get there.
Definitely.
For sure he'll get there. And he's the type of guy who'll take everything in.
Yeah.
Everything he learns.
Completely agree. Any other takeaways from you from that press conference?
Yeah, I mean, the other takeaway I would say is at the end when he was talking about Spurs playing within the spaces. What he was saying how we have great players with speed who can exploit the spaces, but what we need to work on is when we don't have spaces and passing and moving and opening up spaces and making defenses think. And that's always what we've been. Obviously, Spurs have struggled with that, haven't we, for a while now. Ever since probably Pochettino's peak season, like we've been a big struggle to break teams down when they've been settled. I've always needed a bit of luck, and that's what Conte's alluding to. So he said the team has the quality to play without space. We just need to work on it in the training ground and things like that. So I was very positive he's noticed that, and hopefully the more training we do with him, the closer we'll get to being able to, because especially under Nuno, it was a massive issue, wasn't it? We said it like massively. That's
a bit of an understatement.
Yeah, as soon as the defence got settled, that was it. It was like game over. I remember that West Ham game. As soon they went 1-0 up and it was game over. With 20 minutes to go, it was game over. Yeah. And you should never be game over with one goal in it with 20 minutes to go, you know what I mean? And it was. Yeah. And that's what we got to work on. Being able to be creative. And that's maybe why he's asking people like Skip to be more progressive, because we don't have that player, do we, who we can rely on to create, except for Harry Kane, but we want Harry Kane a bit further forward, don't we? So I think that's why he's maybe tasking other players to maybe step up a bit and try and add a different element to their game.
At the end of the day, if these midfielders are going to be successful, Højbjerg, Hobby and Skippy, they're going to need to get better at their progressiveness in terms of carrying the ball forward from midfield to the attack, linking the midfield to the attack, playing those progressive passes. Because, like you said, when they were playing under Nuno in those positions, they were nowhere near creative enough. First few games under Conte, nowhere near creative enough, but we're starting to see slightly improvements now. So maybe it can be a combination that we can move forward with.
A few times, look, it's slim pickings, but there was a few times where we were able to break him down. For example, when Winks was able to play out a lovely through ball to Son, which was a great chance and stuff like that, and that chance where Skip plays it through to Kane and Højbjerg's at the back post. Like, there was a few opportunities where they had a settled defence and we were able to open them up. Obviously, it's few and far between, and we need more of that. But at least there's signs of life. Yeah.
All right, let's get into the match review. Tottenham 2, Brentford 0 at the Tottenham Hotspur Stadium last night. It set the tone in the first 10 minutes. We got a shot on target. Is it the earliest we've had a shot on target all season?
Must be.
This season. But I think it set the tone, and I think Sonny, right from the off, was giving them no ends of problems. He was exploiting those spaces. He was finding those little pockets of space as well. And from the off, he was absolutely giving them a torrid time. And this was like the Sonny of old. It was a step in the right direction for Sonny, because the last couple of games, 2 or 3 games, he's been a bit out of the game, lethargic, not really exploiting those spaces that we know he can. But yesterday he did that, and yesterday it was definitely a performance where, in the step in the right direction of the Sonny of old, really.
What I'd say about Sonny, I feel like maybe the few days break might have done him sort of the world of good, because that sharpness hadn't been there for the past few games, and it definitely returned in this game for sure. But what I would say about Son is, I think for the first time yesterday we saw the real potential of what Conte was talking about him in a number 10 role, because I felt like before, you don't really, as I said, in the preview, you don't really think about Son, about playing him within tight spaces and getting him being creative and stuff. But I felt like yesterday it wasn't about that. It was about him finding pockets of space and then exploiting it with his pace, getting shots off outside the box, linking the play, linking with, and also when he's in the number 10, still being able to get beyond the last defender and still being able to be a threat in behind as well, which that Son needs to be that threat if he's going to be clinical. And we know Son has the ability to do both. He really does. He has the ability to shoot from outside the box, and he has the ability to run in behind. And it's about making sure he's picking up those pockets of space, making sure he's positioning himself where he's dangerous to the opposition. And I felt like yesterday, I still don't think it was perfect, but I still think we're definitely, again, with Sonny, he's getting to grips with what Conte wants in that role.
I think it's his best performance under Conte, for sure.
For sure. Oh, that's definitely true. And I think hopefully he'll just get better and better there. And there are a few opportunities where he's outside the box with a few pockets of space, and he's getting shots off Obviously, with the goal on the counter attack, he was the one who scored the goal. He was the one who got the assist, well, the cross in for. He was the one who got the cross in for the first goal. So I think really positive from Sonny and that aspect. So hopefully he can continue getting to grips with how Conte wanted him to play. And I thought he linked up really well with the. Not just the other attackers, but also Reguilon as well.
Yeah, I thought that there were a lot of good individual displays out there last night. But what really, for me, what won us that game was like the structure of the team. I thought was brilliant. Defense was really on point yesterday, and the way we were able to spring on them as well. And we had a lot of chances. I mean, I said yesterday in the match, after the match, I said that in the first half we didn't create much, but actually we did. And I think we created quite a lot throughout the whole game yesterday.
Yeah, I think it's definitely our most complete performance of the season. You got to say that. I think that's no doubt about it. And I actually don't think Brentford were even that bad. I just think we outworked them. That was the thing. I think for the first time, maybe since the City game at the beginning of the season, we saw more desire from the Spurs team than the opposition in terms of. I think Brentford were up for it. I think a few times. I remember there was one point they were coming back into the game. I was telling you during the game, and I was like, okay, they started to fight it, but that
was about 20 minutes into the second half.
Yeah, but we kind of made sure we didn't concede any easy chances, made it difficult for them, and I think we were definitely up for the fight yesterday. And as I think Conte said, I think we might be in the post-match interview. He's like, we made sure that they came to our home and we made it difficult for them. That we're not going to make it easy for them to create chances. And it's been far too easy for the opposition to play against us this season. We know that. Even against Leeds, in the first half, it was far too easy for them to be able to play their stuff. And they didn't open us up too many times, but they were definitely dominating. And we didn't allow Brentford to settle properly in the game. And that was the most pleasing thing. It definitely was a bit of like... reminiscent of when under Pochettino we used to just outwork the opposition so much, and I think yesterday was a case of outworking them and then your quality shining through, because I think we both played three at the back, so tactically it was very even, but we know that we have the better players. We have came with the right attitude and we're just working hard on them. We'll win the game, and that's what happened.
A player that's really come on leaps and bounds since Antonio Conte's joined the club in Ben Davies. Another stellar display from him last night. I mean, you and Grandpa both gave him your man of the match yesterday. And I thought, again, a sensational display from that left centre-back role. He was getting forward as he does. I mean, he was very close to the goal once again, as he was in the Vitesse game. Obviously, it was given an own goal like it was that day as well. But
I actually don't think he got a touch in the end.
No, he didn't. He didn't. I think it went off two Brentford players in the end. But I think that, look, you cannot knock him at the moment. You really can't.
No. He's. I think he's the player who's probably benefited most from Conte coming in through the door, because he was going nowhere. I think even under Mourinho and under Nuno, they both wanted to play a back four. Even though Nuno, we thought he was going to play a back three, but we both wanted to play a back four, and Davies can't play in a back four anymore, I don't think, unfortunately. I just don't think he's good enough in that position. Maybe some games at left back against lesser opposition you can get away with it, but when you come up against these fast wingers and he's in one-on-one situations with them, I don't think he's up to it. But what he can definitely do is play in that back three at the left centre back role. He's been great there for Wales recently, and I think Conte has noticed that. I think he's noticed he's the best option we have there, and I think there's a bit of a renaissance happening with Ben Davies at the moment. He's really, really settled, but not only that, because of his time at left back, because he spent years there, he is comfortable when given the opportunity to go forward and to be in the final third. We know he doesn't have the most quality, but when he's not tasked of being in that final third all the time like he is at left back, just bombing on, he doesn't have the pace to do that anymore. But he does have the ability to do that at chosen moments, like he has been doing. And not only that, it's becoming quite effective because he's very hard to pick up. Because he's a centre back, they don't know how to pick him up when he's going forward, because you've got Reguilon there, then you've got the three forwards, and then you've got centre mids, and all of a sudden you've got a centre back coming forward as well. So they don't know when he does go forward, he always seems to find space every time.
Yeah. Because
they don't know how to pick him up. So I think he's being very, very clever in choosing. I think Conte is they say that Conte meticulously plans out every moment of
literally
what
every moment. He tells them where to kick it, where to throw it, where to
moment,
breathe, where to spit. You know what I
Exactly.
mean? It's like he literally plans every single little detail to the. You know, I don't know if this was anything to do with it, but a few weeks ago we saw the Spurs staff picking up pieces of grass
Yeah.
off the sidelines.
Yeah, I mean, his attention to detail is incredible, and I think when you can see whenever Ben Davies goes forward, like he's always free, he's always got in space,
Yeah.
and we know that. Look, he's not the most high quality of output, but I do believe that if he gets forward, how he's getting forward at the moment, he will start. Not regularly, but there will be a few times he'll get an assist or a goal.
I mean, already, I know he hasn't had that assist or a goal yet under Conte, but already he's got into so many spaces, so many times where he's nearly got that goal. You know what I mean?
Exactly, and he's starting to look threatening a bit. And from a defensive point of view, everyone's worried about him against Tony and Mbuemo and stuff. But I think he dealt with it very well. I thought defensively he was on point. I think positionally he's always been a very good defender positionally. That's never been his problem. What's been his problem usually is, when he's wanting one-on-one and getting beaten and things like that.
Yeah, when Jose played him in a back two of a back four, of a middle two and a back four. That's always stuff like that, because he just can't do that. That's just not his role. I mean, this is his only role for me now, in the left of a back three. I don't want to see him at left back. I don't want to see him in a back four. No. I want to see him there. That's the only place, in my opinion.
Yeah. Exactly. I think, as I say, I think maybe if we need him to, he can fill in a left back in some games. But by and large, I want
only as a last resort kind of thing.
Yeah, you want him at left back. You want him at left centre back now. I think that's his best role. And also, it gives him more time. I think also it gives him, when he's on the ball, it gives him kind of more time on the ball in a position he's more comfortable with, rather than, I think when he's out wide a bit, and he's getting pressed, it's a bit difficult. But when he's a bit deeper in that left centre-back role, he's able to pick out a pass a bit more comfortably.
And not only that, defensively, he's got a lot more support as well.
Yeah, exactly. And he's got a lot more players around him. He's got Reguilon supporting him on the left. He can also go out wide to defend if Reguilon's out of position, and he's got the two centre-backs next to him to his right as well. So definitely Ben Davies is improving from that aspect, and I'm very happy for him, because he's a player who comes under a lot of shit, and to see him performing well and look, obviously it's still early days, but to see him improving and putting in good displays, I'm very happy for him, because he's a player who always gives 100%, isn't he?
And and if we're looking at bringing in centre backs, what an option he is to have just in and around the squad. You know what I mean? Even at left back, I kept saying that I don't think it's desperate. We don't need to desperately sell Ben Davies, because you know what you're going to get with Ben Davies the majority of the time. You're never going to get an awful display. You're never going to get an amazing display. You're going to get that standard Ben Davies 6 out of 10 display. Now we're seeing more than that. But back then, I always said we can keep him in the squad just as a backup, keep him on the bench. We can bring him on if we want to solidify the defence and stuff like that. But now, you keep him in the squad with the way he's playing. To have that fourth option, if we can sign a couple of centre backs, would be absolutely brilliant for us.
Yeah, 100%. And I think he could be a player that maybe people didn't realise how strong he could be, but he could be a player. I think he could be a player that Conte trusts in this squad, and I think he is a reliable player. And I'm excited for what he's doing at the moment. Obviously, he long term we'll have to wait and see, because he is 28. But I think at the moment he's doing a great job for the team. I can't knock him.
Yeah. Another player in the defence, we go from the bad to the worst, and Davies and Sanchez. I mean, he worried me last night. He worried me. He looked like he was playing with a bit of a lack of confidence, maybe. A few shaky moments on the ball. Well, more than a few shaky moments on the ball. Yeah. Defensively, I mean, he was okay, but it was those moments on the ball that really worried me last night. I mean, from the off, he looked really shaky, didn't he?
Yeah, he was probably he was the most shaky of the back three, 100%. Definitely the least comfortable on the ball. You saw that from straight away, especially in the first half, where he's being pressed and he just doesn't look comfortable, doesn't he?
You mentioned that they were targeting him straight from the off.
It looked like it. I think, to be honest, I think he stood up to the challenge fairly well. I don't think he got beaten too many times and stuff like that. I did think in the there were a few times he got beaten in the air, but he recovered from it. I think by and large he was okay, but he just didn't instill me with any much confidence when you're watching him. You're just thinking he's like a whiff away from a calamity.
When you were looking at that game last night, looking at the back three, watching their displays, he was the one that we looked like that we need to upgrade first and foremost. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
but we
we
got
know that.
Romero, I know that, but he's not back till February.
Yeah, and there was one moment in the second half where there's a cross comes in and there's no one near him, and he could have taken it. He could have taken the ball down or anything, and he just slices it completely nowhere. And it's like, and I think it fell to a Brentford player, and it just didn't look convincing. Like sometimes he just needs to think about what he's doing. I think he's still way too rash for what he is, and I think the performances at the beginning of the season, he was so much more calm, so much more composed on the ball. He was spraying passes like I've never seen before at the beginning of the season, but all of a sudden. I don't think it's anything to do with Conte. I think it was happening also a bit at the end of the Nuno reign as well. It's just when he's been dropped again and maybe he's losing confidence, he's becoming rash again, and he's starting to rush things. And again, I'll say
over trying kind of thing.
Yeah, maybe I don't know. It's over trying. I don't know what it is.
That's what I felt when it was last night. That's what I said to Ricky, who was next to us. I mean, I just felt Sanchez was trying too hard instead of just concentrating on his game. Going out there trying to impress without really, just taking your time to calm it down and really just assess your options and, just calm down a little bit,
Yeah. Every time he plays a pass, it always seems to be under hill, over hill, just not perfect, Like the amount of times you saw Eric Dyer yesterday, he's playing quick passes into the forward players and setting up quick attacks, like accurate passes as well into the feet of Harry Kane. Like you just don't trust Sanchez to do that when when he's going to pass out of the back, there is a decent chance he's going to get intercepted. And I think, the funny thing is, Mourinho pointed this out all the way back in 2017 in the Europa League final. He said, whenever Sanchez had the ball, we just stood off him and let him pass it because we know he's not comfortable on the ball.
But you'd think a player would improve by then. He's 19 then or something.
2017, what's that, 4 years ago now? 2017? Well, we in 2021, yeah. Oh, it's only 4 years. So it's 4 years ago now. That was the Europa League final, and he's still now after 4 years hasn't got that composure and quality, I would say, on the ball to know that center because when a team knows that you're not comfortable at passing and as Mourinho said, if they're just going to stand off you and let you pass, unless your passing is perfect and your passing has actually got good quality, you become a massive liability because all of a sudden you're allowing the opposition to get into space and you're allowing into a structure. You're allowing them to get settled, and if you do get your pass intercepted, which there's a good chance when it's Sanchez, all of a sudden they can spring on you and you're unbalanced. Whereas if you do have a good pass on you, for example, I'm not saying he's unbelievable. He's much better passer than Eric Dyer. They know they need to press him because if they allow him time, he does have the quality to get into Kane's feet and then quickly set up attacks.
The other defender in Eric Dyer, we can just quickly gloss over him. But Eric Dyer, look, for everyone, whatever everyone said about Eric Dyer, not just this game, but I think he's having a brilliant season. I'm going to say it right now. I really think he's having a brilliant season. Even under Nuno, he was one of the better players, and I think that all in all, he's been one of our best players this season, Eric Dyer.
Had a great game again yesterday, and again, I'm a lot more comfortable with him on the ball than previously. He was playing some really nice passes out of the back. I remember there was one through ball that was going to nearly found Reguilon, just like a really nice curved ball, nearly finding Reguilon one-on-one, which was really impressive. I think the amount of times he's feeding Kane, allowing Kane to hold the ball up, I think it's so important because I think beforehand we weren't playing good quality passes into Harry Kane. We're kind of lumping it forward to him, asking him to head it on or get it on his chest, but Dyer is playing good quality passes into feet, allowing Kane to get in front of the defender and then opens the game up because all of a sudden we've bypassed the midfield and then you've got Son and Lucas, as runners, and that is very, very important to our game. So I think Eric Dyer is a big part of that at the moment. I still think there are definitely better centre backs out there with even more quality on the ball than Dyer, but in terms of what we have, I think he's doing okay. He's doing a good job, and I'm pretty happy with how he's stepping up at the moment, which we need him to. And defensively, didn't give Tony anything. I think he was really solid. Didn't give them any encouragement. I think again, him in a back three, he's definitely much more suited to that than in a two. I think him having the more protection of the two centre backs out either side of him. also allows him, if he does have a lapse in concentration, it's not as detrimental as it was beforehand. I felt like, under Mourinho, every time, because even under Mourinho, he played. We used to say he did play well, but then he'll have a brain fart and it'll cost us. But I feel like now, even if that was to happen once in a game or so, he does have the cover that will allow him to have that. He has other players around him that can help him out a bit more than just the one centre back as before. So it's a lot better.
Definitely. In terms of the attacking dynamic yesterday in the game, how do you think the three kind of worked in tandem with each other? Moura, Kane, and Sonny. For me, I think Sonny was absolutely brilliant yesterday, probably the best out of the three. Kane was a weird one yesterday. Kane was a strange one yesterday because I felt like outside the box, he was brilliant. I thought he was brilliant outside the box, and every time he made his way inside the box, he turned into like Vincent Janssen and Roberto Soldado. I don't know what happened to him yesterday.
Yeah, I mean, he only had one opportunity, if I remember, which was the one-on-one when he was played through by Skip, which he hit straight at the keeper. Should be doing much better. I think in general, I thought he was pretty good. I thought his hold-up play was fairly strong. There was a few moments where you're thinking he played the wrong pass or whatnot, but I thought his passing.
Some of his passes were
he
played 2 or 3 absolutely unbelievable passes yesterday. That one for the goal to find Reguilon.
There was
insane.
one volleyed pass from the halfway line out wide to Emerson. I think it was.
Yeah,
unbelievable on a plate for him. It's like incredible pass.
And it dipped just behind the defender onto his feet. It was nuts.
You just think how he can time that pass is absolutely amazing. I thought he played a pass through to Lucas as well early on, which Lucas had a shot saved. I thought creatively really strong. I think there was also one moment in when obviously he plays that ball across the face of goal for Højbjerg, who missed, and I think he did really well to dig out that pass. I think his hold-up play when Dyer is playing quick passes into him and he's able to hold off the defenders and bring other players into play, also fairly strong. Just didn't get that goal, unfortunately. I don't think, not only did he not get the goal, he didn't seem to be in enough positions to score, to be honest. He only kind of found himself in one situation where he's scoring. But I think, yes, Kane is an unbelievable goal scorer, no doubt about it. And obviously, I want him to score goals. That's his job, for sure. But it's a team game. And I think he did a great job for the team yesterday. No doubt about it. I think he, as part of a team, he was as vital cog as others yesterday in how he played. I thought he was a fairly strong performance. I don't think he was
all his
par.
best work came in the middle of the park yesterday.
Yeah, I know, but I agree. But I think sometimes people see, Kane didn't score, and then all of a sudden they just I think it's lazy analysis, and they just say, he looks sluggish and stuff. I don't think he did. I think he looked pretty sharp yesterday. I know he missed that chance, but I think by and large his performance was pretty strong. I thought he played pretty well, and I think as part of a functioning team, I thought I don't think he was below par or we were carrying him or anything like that. I thought he was just as important part as anyone, pretty much, in the team yesterday. So I was pretty happy with his performance. I know he didn't score again. I want him to score. I want him to get back to his goal scoring ways. I'm sure the goals will come, but it's a team game, and I think people forget that sometimes.
Yeah, I think that what we need Kane to get scoring again. That's what we need. I mean, look at what the history tells us in the last couple of years. If Kane doesn't score, how many goals we're going to get in a season? And yeah, we won the game 2-0 yesterday, and I thought Kane was okay. I don't think he was amazing. I don't think he was rubbish. I think he was okay, and I think the work that he did in the middle of the park was exceptional. That part was exceptional, but I thought that when he was getting in the box, he just left us feeling we needed a bit more from him, in my opinion.
As definitely the best striker in the Premier League, in my opinion, you definitely expect more. But I'm okay with it. I'm okay with how he's playing at the moment. I think since Conte's come in, I've definitely seen a bit more of a shift in terms of his intensity and his sharpness. I think he's definitely getting a bit sharper. We want the goals to come, but it's a team game. I think as part of a team, he was fine. He was good. You could say individually, in and around the penalty area, he could do more. Yeah, I think you can agree with that. But I think as part of as the team structure and the dynamic, I think he was definitely a good part of it. I think I know when it goes to Son and Lucas as well. Lucas, I thought, played pretty well. I don't think he was amazing, but I thought he played pretty well. I think his energy, as we've seen so much as well, isn't it? You know, his energy
Probably should have got a goal, Lucas.
Yeah, I think his energy, it's always there, isn't it? You never. I think 9 times out of 10 he'll have that energy.
You know what passion he's going to bring to the team.
Yeah, 100%. His work rate is always there, and I think they do have a good rapport, those three. It's just they didn't unfortunately link up too many times. Most of the time it was kind of a midfielder playing it through to one of the three and then getting a shot off or so, which is fine. But also I kind of liked us when we did go to a 3 in the middle with 2 up top. I liked how it looked. I know it was only for 20 minutes or so, but we definitely looked very solid. Like I think it was in that period where Brentford were kind of getting in the game a bit, not creating anything, but kind of getting a bit more control. And then we put Winks on, and then we gained control back, and I like that.
The game management was spot on by Conte yesterday. I mean, I was calling for a sub a long time, because I think we made our first sub at like 75th minute or something, or 70th minute. I was calling for a sub beforehand, but, you know, on reflection, I think Conte called this game spot on. I think his game management was absolutely brilliant yesterday.
Yeah. And then, I think so. And it's good that we looked all right with 3 in the middle, because I think that it makes us flexible, and it'll be interesting to see how we're going forward, you know, what kind of formations. And when it goes to like rotation as well, when we're thinking about how we need to rotate the squad, because, you know, a lot of games this month, I think it definitely helps if we're comfortable in both formations.
Oh, for sure.
Because it means one game, you know, it means it's not always like, oh, we're playing 3-4-3 all the time, so, you know, we have to swap Son for Bergwijn or something like that. It's like, okay, this game we play 3-4-3. Maybe next time we can play 3-5-2 and get the midfielders involved a bit more, getting Dombele or Lo Celso in the central midfield. So it's not always like we're decreasing in quality too much or whatever. You know what I mean?
Yeah, it's because there's a long month ahead. Games every 3 or 4 days. Literally, the whole squad is going to have to be used over this month, and that's no question about it, is it? The whole squad is literally going to have to be used.
Except for the defender, I feel like defenders are just going to be. That's it. It's going to be those players are going to have to play every game pretty much. I mean, I can't see how we.
You don't think Rodon will get any minutes at all? I mean, he's got to get some minutes, surely.
I don't know if he trusts him. I don't know. Look, maybe, yeah, I'm sure. But when it comes to defenders, they can play more games than the other players.
They can, yeah.
So
sure.
I feel like, especially with the fullbacks as well, can I really see? I know Tanganga came on late in the game. Do I see him starting a game under Conte, a right wing back? I don't know.
I can see him starting at the right centre-back role, though.
Yeah, but he came on the right wing-back, didn't he?
Yeah. So I think that if he's going to start a game...
Was on the bench yesterday?
No, I don't think he was.
He was on the bench, wasn't
he? Oh, actually, he was.
He was,
yeah.
So that's telling, isn't it? That he chose Tanganga at right wing-back ahead of Doherty. So that's quite telling, isn't it? Where he is.
Definitely. All right, let's... actually, I would just want to make a comment just before we finish the match review. Is there something to be said that we won a game ending it with Winks on the pitch, Davis on the pitch, you know, all these players
Dyer
on the pitch, Dyer on the pitch, all these players on the pitch, where under Jose, where we used to bring these players on, who used to just, you know, fall flat on our asses at the end of the game.
I think you have a point, because I think they definitely look a lot better now than they did under Nuno. But look, let's be honest, under Mourinho, it's not like we never won a game. You know,
I'm not saying we never won a game, but how many times did we throw away a game in the last few minutes under Jose Mourinho? How many times?
Not when we're 2 goals clear.
Not 2 goals clear, fair.
No, we're 2 goals
clear. But even times when anytime Winks would play under Jose Mourinho, we would more or less lose, apart from if it was a Carabao Cup game or early rounds of the Europa League.
I think... I remember a few games we won under when Winks played. I remember we beat Leeds 3-0 at home when Winks started.
It's a handful of games, though, let's be honest.
Yeah, it's a handful, but, you know, this is one game under Conte. You can't... And I agree with your point. I think they look good. I think Winks actually came on looking confident. He's actually playing some, we're 2-0 up with 5 minutes to go. And
he's 2 games in a row now.
Yeah, and he's actually, but he's not just playing. He's not looking scared on the ball. He's actually playing passes in between players, into players into space. He's playing a through ball to Son with a few minutes to go. He's looking confident, which I'm really happy about. That's what he needs. He needed a bit of confidence. Eric Dyer, he's come on leaps and bounds. Ben Davies looks like a new player in that left centre-back role. So these players who look like they were going to be discarded. Look, I'm not saying they're going to be the future of Tottenham or anything, but I'm just happy that they're looking a lot more confident now under Conte. Maybe he's given them a bit more belief about their quality.
Lease of life for a lot of these players, I think.
Definitely.
And what is it? Someone's made a comment here, a good point. Where was it? Yeah, Jordan Hussein says that there was a clear shape and structures to the team last night, and we haven't had that since the Poch days. And I think that's pretty spot on as well.
Yes, I think there were times under Mourinho we did have a clear shape and structure, but I think we, as we know, under Mourinho, it was far too deep. You know, I can't remember too many times we were caught deep yesterday and caught too much in our own half. It was always very much pressing them in the centre of the park, like making sure they don't progress too far into our half. Under Mourinho, we allowed teams way too deep.
Bypass our midfield time.
Yeah, all the time.
Yeah.
And it put a lot of pressure on our defence all the time. And sometimes it coped with it, most of the time it didn't. And I think that's the key under Conte. It's not allowing teams to get too far into our half, and making sure that we're making it not difficult for them to get on our goal, make it difficult for them to get into our back four. And under Mourinho, it was way too easy for teams to get into our defence. And that was the difference. And I think we had under Mourinho, we did have a bit of structure. I think you could see that early days last season, up in first half of last season, there was a structure, and it worked for a bit, but unfortunately it fell apart. But now under Conte, I'm definitely seeing a structure I'm much more comfortable with. We look a lot more solid in the structure now, for sure. But it's early.
It's early days. It's 3 games in, but 2 wins and a draw, albeit not against the best opposition. Let's be honest.
It is 2 wins and a draw, and we looked all right, but we're still we'll have to wait and see. And as well,
this is a long process, and we're just at the beginning of it.
And also, we have to wait and see as well. It's 2 wins and a draw, but we saw once we started using the fringe players against Mura how it all fell apart.
Yeah.
So it's with 9 games this month, it's gonna be a big ask when he's asked to rotate. I want to see how the players come in. Hopefully, because in Premier League games, it's not good. We're never going to play the team that we played against Mura in any Premier League game. It's always going to be a mix. Like, if we are going to rotate, it's going to be a mix and match. So hopefully it won't be a complete second team ever. But it'll be interesting to see when we do have to use some of the fringe players or more than 2 or 3, how they react to coming into the team and how they perform. And hopefully they can step up.
Yeah, definitely. And, this month with a lot of games, like I said, every 3-4 days there's a game. I mean, Conte, if he didn't learn a lot about his squad over the last few weeks, by the end of December, he's going to know them absolutely inside out, because every player is going to need to be used. And I think he'll know exactly, probably halfway through this month, what players he wants to get rid of, what kind of players he wants to bring in, and everything like that. So even if this month goes badly with the fringe players and stuff like that, I still think it's a good thing, because it's a learning curve for Conte, and he can, assess the squad exactly how he needs to.
Yeah. One player we didn't talk about was Reguilon.
Reguilon.
Fullbacks, actually.
Yeah, Reguilon.
More Reguilon than Emerson. But
I think with Emerson, let's start off with Emerson, because with Emerson, I thought that he defended really well last night. I thought he was getting into really good spaces, but it was his final ball that was really letting him down yesterday.
Yes, I agree with that. Actually, I also think his link up with Lucas wasn't as strong as
it's been previously.
First of all, that, and also I thought the left-hand side, the link up with Son, Reguilon and Davies was a lot stronger. Like, Sanchez was never supporting the attack the way Davies was in the final third. So I felt like
he tried to at times, Sanchez, but it just wasn't happening.
He's just not as comfortable. If you want Sanchez in the final third, you want him there. You just don't want him there, do you?
Am I right in saying in Sanchez it was his pass to Sonny to start that goal in the second goal?
It was, but was it? I don't know if it was a pass or just a hoop forward. You know what I mean? I'm not sure. I'm not 100% sure. I knew it was like more of a clearance than a pass. We'll go through it in a minute. But I thought, because of that, probably Emerson maybe didn't have as much space as Reguilon, because maybe, when Davies is helping him out and stuff, it's opening up space. But Reguilon, I thought,
the energy that he puts into games, was crazy. Because this
is one player you're seeing improve week on week.
when Reguilon first came here, we said, "Oh my God, the energy he puts in is mental. He's non-stop running up and down, up and down." This is a new level. This is a completely new level to what we've seen from Reguilon in the past. The way he's getting up and down that pitch is absolutely insane. The sheer work rate he's got at the moment is crazy. And he mentioned a couple of weeks ago he sleeps at night thinking about where he is on the pitch now under Conte and his tactical positions and stuff like that. And you can really see that because he's come on leaps and bounds already under Antonio Conte. And last 2 games now, goal and assist for Reggie.
Yeah, and it's funny because that first game against Everton, he had an absolute shocker, didn't he? It was like one of the worst games.
Yeah.
And I don't know whether it was because he was like knackered from the Vitesse game or whatnot, and he's just not used to that level of work rate. But he had such a sloppy game. But ever since then, he's been brilliant. He's been such a threat every time he goes forward. Like they find it, you can see teams are struggling to deal with him on the left-hand side because they're so focused on that front three. Son, Kane and Lucas, that he's constantly getting into all sorts of spaces on that left-hand side. And he's got such great pace. We know his, I think, look, his final third could improve, but it's already at a very good level. His final third output, like his crossing and stuff, we know that. His shooting definitely needs work, but his ability to get assists and stuff already. He's got a goal last time against Leeds. He got an assist this time.
I think that was his 4th assist this season or something.
Already 4 assists this season.
I think so. I could be wrong on that, but I'll double check that. But carry on.
But yeah, he's getting in all sorts of positions. He's becoming such a massive threat, and he's expanding so much energy.
That was his third
assist. That's quite impressive already. And I think already under Conte, he's going to start really improving. Really improving.
We're seeing that already.
He said his mate Hakimi, because they were both together at Madrid. They're good friends. Hakimi told him, look, it's going to be hard work. You're going to have to suffer, but you will improve. Like, you're going to be double the player you were before. Yeah. And I think we're starting to see that of Reguilon. That's what we were hoping for, wasn't it, with Reguilon? Like, because we all seen that potential. I think maybe, under Mourinho last year, we saw like lots of potential and we saw lots of good performances and things, but we never saw the full potential of what he could offer. I feel under Mourinho, because maybe he was kind of held back, asked to defend too much. But now I think he's still not there. I think he's still got so many levels he can go up, but we're starting to see like what he could really do on the left-hand side, like dominate that left-hand side.
Definitely.
And it was brilliant stuff.
It really was. All right, well, that is our match review from last night. Let's get into... let's go to a few. Well, there's actually a few, I think. Go on, read that one.
All from Josh King.
Go on, big up Josh King on the watch-along last night.
Yeah, did a great job yesterday on the watch-along. He says, interesting that Conte says Skip must improve on the ball because Hobby is much worse than him, so I can't see Hobby as first choice for long. I think when it comes to being on the ball, Skip probably has a bit more composure than Højbjerg. And when it comes to passing and stuff, I think their quality is fairly similar, actually. I think when Højbjerg gets a bit rushed, when he's asked to play quick passing and things like that, that's where he gets a bit found out. Sometimes in the centre of the park, he can be a bit, his passing can be a bit, how do you say?
Wayward.
Oh yeah, wayward, but it's like a lack of care, like sloppy kind of thing. Like he'll try a quick pass and it's not very accurate, it's kind of goes a bit to the side and it doesn't find a player. But I think but as well, there are definitely times where he can spray a good long switch of play, like really accurately. Yeah. Højbjerg, he can do that when you give him time and space.
It's not consistent enough though, is it?
Sometimes it is. I don't know. It depends what game, I guess. I guess from game on game, it's not that consistent. But sometimes it can. Like I've seen him like do it where it's like 3-4 times a game. He's playing really accurate switches of play, and we saw for Denmark, especially in the Euros, that in the final third, like I think it was in the group stages anyway. Like he was one of the highest chances created in the whole tournament. Like he can do that role. Like I don't think he's like a creative midfielder, but like when he has a more defensive player next to him and he has a tiny bit more license to go forward, he can actually be a bit creative when allowed to. Not like anything like an attacking midfielder level, but like he's not like this player who's completely inept in the final third. Whereas with Skip, I think we haven't. I think yesterday was definitely we saw that a bit, but we haven't yet seen it on a consistent basis where he's providing like through balls and consistently providing for the attack. I think yesterday was definitely, we saw that a bit, but we have to see it on a consistent basis.
I think with Skip, we've seen like improvements throughout the season, to be honest. Because at the first few games, he was there as like a kind of destroyer, keeping in the middle of the park and playing really well. And then he started to add like these drives forward in his game. And you know, they're really hurting the opposition. Where in the last 20 minutes, he would grab the ball in the middle of the park and drive forward. Yesterday, we actually saw that evolve a little bit, and we saw the kind of passes forward and like really nice balls through between the lines. So I think with Skippy, you know, the more he has with Conte, the more he has on the training ground, the more he's going to improve, and the more we're going to see these kind of attributes creep into his game, in my opinion.
Yeah, I think you're right, and I think the more Conte develops him, and I think Conte is going to develop all our midfielders, even Højbjerg. I think he's going to make sure that Højbjerg is a lot more accurate with his passing and stuff like that, and I think hopefully we'll see Højbjerg also improve. But just is Skip better than Højbjerg on the ball? I don't know. It's difficult.
It's hard to say right now.
It's hard to say. I think he's more composed. I agree with that, especially in the centre. But I actually think at the moment Højbjerg, it's not much in it, but I think Højbjerg has a bit more quality just now.
I think for me, Højbjerg's passing has really let us down this season, especially in maybe like the last 3-4 weeks. I've really seen a drop-off in his passing and a lot of wayward passes in the middle of the park. So if you're looking at just recency bias over the last like 2 or 3 games, I would say Skip is maybe better on the ball. But, you know, the careers will tell you that Højbjerg is probably better on the ball in terms of their whole career as a whole. Yeah. So it's hard to say, isn't it? It's very hard to say. Another super chat here from Wayne Bonner saying, last night for me, we saw Reguilon, how good he is. And I think probably the last few games we've seen that from Reguilon. I mean, he's been a star performer for the last, 2-3 games really. Since
I think yesterday was his best one.
Yeah, I'd agree with that. But, you know, better and better every single week.
Yeah, and he's getting more, he's becoming more and more of a threat. But also, not only he's becoming a threat, but he's always getting back in position and helping Davies out as well. Like, he's always sprinting back. You can see those lung-bursting runs. Are really, really, like, I don't know how he does it, to be honest. I think he's getting fitter and fitter, and with that, when he, you know, we haven't seen Reg because he came under Mourinho. You know, when Mourinho never really focused on getting players at their peak fitness. Just, you know, I'm excited to see what Reguilon's going to be when, you know, in a few weeks' time when he really is at his peak.
Yeah. Super chat here from Sean Butler saying, seeing Reggie and Sonny sprinting past the Brentford defence in unison for the second goal was magical to see live. Different level pace on display.
Definitely.
Spot on, wasn't it? That was such a nice goal to see. It's such a nice goal. That ball from Harry Kane, that ball from Reguilon, both absolutely pinpoint. And obviously, Sonny was there in the back post to finish it. But it was such a nice goal to see the effort and the desire for Sonny, because Sonny was the one who played it to Harry Kane. And then as soon as he plays it, he's on his bike. He's on his bike.
And they couldn't, you know, the pace, they couldn't stop him, could they? They couldn't get near him.
Well, talking about the goals, let's go into the goal reviews. And
we'll go into clips. I didn't review the first goal because it's just a goal from a corner. But
yeah.
We'll go to talk about just quickly that goal from a corner, though. We never really play short corners, do we?
We did it like 2 or 3 times.
And we did it 2 or 3 times, and we actually, you know, created a few opportunities from that, which is actually something, interestingly enough, that I remember reading an article from The Athletic saying that that's what Conte used to do. He likes to mix up his corner routines, and he likes to come up with different routines from corners, and I think that's definitely something we've struggled with recently, mixing it up.
I mean, I felt like our level of our corners for years now,
just near post, looking for the near post.
It's been terrible. Same thing every time. So predictable. It hardly ever went past the first man, especially when Eriksen was taken.
I remember early days under the Poch, we used to actually regularly. It used to work. We used to, I think, the amount of times like Alderweireld or die, we used to get to the near post, and we used to get some. We actually scored quite a few goals from set pieces at that near post. But I don't know whether it's just teams figured it out or the quality of delivery got worse, or both. But the goals really dried up in the last couple of years.
You need to keep your opposition guessing. You need to keep your opposition guessing. You need to keep things fresh. You need to be unpredictable. And, you know, this is what these kind of things bring.
Definitely. All right, so let's get into some clips from yesterday. Again, looking at some of the key moments, but looking at how Conte wants to play in his attacking phase of play. And we'll get into some of the key moments of the game in a sec. Oh, sorry, my bad. So, all right. So this is the first. This is the first moment in the first half where we're attacking. This is where Kane plays through Lucas Moura. Again, as you can see, pretty central, these three players. There's Son, Kane, Lucas. You've got Reguilon wide left. Emerson is far back, but he's on the wide right. You've got the three central players. Again, that's how Conte likes to attack. Once Reguilon plays this pass here into Harry Kane, into space. We're bypassing the Brentford midfield. Once Harry Kane gets there, again, Reguilon joins the attack. He's there. You've got the two forward players. You've got the three, again, really central. I think that's going to be a feature of our play in this 3-4-3. These three attackers really central. Kane playing the ball through here to Lucas Moura, who's going to be in on goal. And obviously, again, not only is when Lucas is there, but Reguilon's there at the back post. If Lucas finds a cross or something, Reguilon's there to
parry from a keeper or something.
Exactly, anything. Like that fullback role is going to be so. We've said it right from the start. It's going to be so crucial, and time again, you're seeing that every time we attack, one of the fullbacks is there at the back post, ready to tap it home. Here again, this is interesting because what Conte was talking about is having Son in that number 10 role before the game. And here he is. Look how central Son is. You never really associate Son with being that central and that deep. But here he is. Højbjerg is about to head the ball into Son. And Son's got all this space to run into in the number 10 role. And as we know, he comes forward. He runs into the space. And then obviously from this position, he gets a shot, forcing a good save from the keeper. But we never would see Son in this kind of area. Usually he's kind of, you associate Son with like these kind of areas here on the left-hand side, cutting inside and curling into the far corner and stuff. But I think Conte wants to see him in these central areas a lot more. And it's something I think Son has struggled with a bit in the first couple games, kind of finding those spaces and getting used to it. But yesterday was the first time we definitely saw him picking up a lot better spaces and making it more difficult for the Brentford players to pick him up. And here's another, that was an example of him being in that number 10, but being effective.
And, if he can find those pockets of spaces in those positions like that, he's dynamite from there.
Exactly.
Absolutely.
And we also know as well, left foot, right foot, you can't, he's two-footed, very ambidextrous, so it's going to be very hard to stop him when he's in those kind of positions, getting shots off. And also, you want him centrally because him closer to goal or within the width of the goal, like, I feel like that's where he's just his most dangerous, We need him in those kind of positions.
Definitely.
And also, obviously, before we go on, who's there in case if Son holds the ball off? Who's there? Reguilon running on the outside as always.
Reguilon is going to be like that bad rash that you just can't get off.
Exactly.
You know what I mean?
And I think as well, maybe I don't know whether
it's going to be like a shadow that you just can't get rid of.
It seems as though Reguilon, I don't know whether he's been given more license, but he definitely gets forward a lot more than Emerson for sure. I think maybe he's given a bit more license to go forward potentially. And maybe Emerson just picks and chooses. It seems like Reguilon every time is there every time.
I think because the way the structure of the team is, right, we're a lot more better on the left-hand side and we're a lot more solid on the left-hand side with Ben Davies there and with Sonny there. On the other side of the park, we had Davies and Sanchez, and he doesn't fill too much people with confidence. And
Yeah, potentially. You're right. Second half, again, this time... we've got those three central forwards. Skip's on the ball here in the centre. He's going to play the fullback, but this time Reguilon is a bit further back, allowing Emerson that chance to go forward, and he's actually in a lot of space. But because you got these three forwards, I think that's Rico Henry. He's dragged inside. He's worried about him. It allows Emerson space, but because Skip's quality actually goes through there to Harry Kane, who I'm not sure who would have been offside there or not. I'm not sure. Maybe he's onside, but. Again, those three forwards, you got the wide fullback, and it allows opportunities to get in on goal. And Harry Kane obviously gets through, probably should be doing better with the chance, hits the keeper. But as you see, the still frame when Kane shoots, you got the three central forwards and you got a wide wing back, always in shot, which goes to show how crucial those players are going to be for Conte, and it shows us getting to grips with how he wants to play. You're starting to see the structure there, aren't you? Every single time we're there, 3 forwards centrally, 2 wing backs helping out the team.
And when you compare that to Jose Mourinho, all we had was Kane and Son up there.
Literally just Kane and Son every time. It was so easy to defend against. This is the second goal. You got Sanchez here, who's about to play a long ball or a long clearance further up the pitch. You've got, but this is from a Brentford throw, actually, I believe. With 1 possession back, you've got Emerson, Dyer, Davis pretty deep with Højbjerg and Skip. So it gives a lot more license to Reguilon to go forward. Again, you got these 3 forwards, sorry. You got the 3 forwards there, pretty centrally. You got Reguilon busting a gut to go forward. Son lays it off for Harry Kane. Reguilon moves forward over there on the left-hand side. And because of these defenders, they were because Kane's deep, they're all quite deep. They're kind of dragged towards the forwards, allowing all this space here for Reguilon. They didn't pick him up. The Canalos, I think, caught too far forward. There's Harry Kane playing a lovely through ball to Reguilon, and then it's just a foot race between, I think that's Janssen here and Son, and there's only going to be one winner once Reguilon gets in that position. Reguilon's there in the forward line. Kane's obviously too deep. He's still got Lucas and Son supporting. Great ball from Reguilon to Sonny, and he's able to just tap it into the empty net. And again, there's Reguilon. If I think under Nuno, Reguilon's not getting in that position. He's not busting it up, but because he knows every time we get forward, pretty much, he has to bust a gut to get in that final third, Reguilon. I think it's just getting second nature him to be in that position now.
It really
is. Got him another assist, and again, it's how Conte wants to play, and we're really seeing it now.
It's just it's crazy his fitness, Reguilon. It really is how it's come on, because he is literally back in defence, up at attack, back in defence, up at attack. I mean, he's everywhere. He's literally everywhere, Reguilon. It's madness.
Yeah, and we really need to make most of it, because he's got amazing energy. But not only does he have amazing energy, but his quality on the ball is good as well. And we've seen before with Conte, with Perisic, with Marcus Alonso, Victor Moses and stuff. These players, they have energy, but they also have quality on the ball, which you need in that position. And I think Reguilon, he will improve. But I think he's already got a solid base to go off with his crossing and his final end product. So I'm really excited for Reguilon, what he's going to offer going forward, and how many goals and assists. He's already in my fantasy team, and because I think he's going to start that output growing, and I think we're already seeing that with him more so than Emerson. I think Emerson, his output has got a lot more work to do than Reguilon.
I think with Emerson, we're going to see, I agree with that, but I think with Emerson, we're going to see him contributing a lot more once we have a competent defence, more or less. Once we have Romero back in the side, or once we bring in another centre-back that can fill in that right role, I do think we're going to see Emerson contributing a lot more.
Yeah, I agree with that. We haven't seen the kind of quality that Reguilon has in Emerson just yet in that final third.
No, we haven't.
Defensively, I think he's pretty solid, to be fair. I know he got beaten by that Leeds player the other week, but I don't think he's been caught out too many times. I think he's all right, and I think energy-wise, he's good at being an option. He's always there, so you always have to think about him, don't you? Because he's very good at getting into that final third. We haven't seen the level that we've seen from Reguilon yet in terms of getting good quality crosses and stuff. I think we've seen a bit, but haven't seen a consistent level of quality just yet from Emerson. So we're still waiting on that. But Reguilon, I think, definitely has that ability.
The problem is, though, I think that if Reguilon is not playing in this team, we're going to lose so much. We're going to lose so much. We don't have anyone else that can do that. I mean, we've got Ryan Sessegnon, but nowhere near the levels of Reguilon, let's be honest.
I mean, I have to agree with that in terms of energy, in terms of ability to confidence as well. Definitely a big factor. When it comes to quality in the final third, we haven't seen it at Tottenham. We've seen it at other clubs that he does have a bit of quality in the final third, more goal scoring than it is like getting assists and stuff. But I do think he has quality, and he just hasn't shown it yet.
I'm talking about now in December, because Reguilon's not going to be able to play every single game in December. You know
so
what
we're
I
gonna
mean?
have to. So he's gonna have to step up, hopefully, and maybe in a more functional team, rather than the one against Mura, he might be better. But yeah, for sure, it's a big ask for Session to match anything close to what Reguilon is going to offer right now. But I do think his skill set definitely could allow him to play in this formation for sure.
Yeah. All right. Any other clips to review?
No, that's it.
All right. So that is our reviews of the clips last night from the game against Brentford, 2-0 win. Let's look forward to the weekend. Obviously, we play Norwich at home on Sunday at the Tottenham Hotspur Stadium. And let's be honest, Norwich have 2 more days rest than us. How much of an advantage is that, do you reckon?
2 more days rest, and they played against 10 men as well. So,
but struggled.
They struggled against 10 men, 100%. So that is definitely something to consider. And they are unbeaten under Dean Smith so far. They're 4 games unbeaten now. 2 wins, 2 draws. So that you've got to take that into account. But from a Spurs point of view, you have to think that this game can't be anything other than 3 points. You've got to respect them, but the way they struggled against 10-man Newcastle shows that they're definitely a team that is structurally at the moment still has a long way to go to really get the most out of their players. I think it wasn't just that they drew with 10-man Newcastle, it was how badly they struggled to not only create chances but even contain Newcastle still with 10 men. Like they really I know they scored late on, but they were a bit lucky to get something out of that game. That they didn't create many chances whatsoever, and if anything, Newcastle on the counter-attack looked more dangerous than them. So I think there's still a lot of issues. I think they've definitely got fight in them. They've shown that now under Dean Smith that they're not going to be a rollover. But again, similar to Brentford, we know we have better players, so we have to just make sure if we outwork them. I know it's going to be a big ask because we exert a lot of energy against Brentford, but if we can outwork Norwich on Sunday, I've got no doubt about it, we'll come away with the 3 points.
How much credit do you give Dean Smith? Because obviously before he came in, you know, they couldn't buy a win. They couldn't buy a draw even. They were losing every single game and getting pulverised in every single game. Dean Smith comes in. Yes, they got a win just before he came in, but, you know, back-to-back wins and a draw, and now back-to-back draws, I think it is, for Norwich. I mean, how much credit do you give Dean Smith for the mini turnaround, I would say?
Yeah, I mean, considering when they came in, I know they won their last game before Farke got sacked, but they were like down and out, you know. You thinking they're relegated, and now you look at the table, they're only 3 points off 17th, and so from that point of view, you got to say fair play. Like, I thought it was just going to be one of those where they're going to literally go down without a fight, pretty much. It looked like it was going to be that situation. So for Dean Smith to be eking any sort of results out of that kind of squad, which I really believe is a championship squad, they really even improved since they were last in the Premier League, like their squad wise. I can't remember.
No, they got rid of their best player, Buendia.
Yeah, Buendia's gone. Jamal Lewis is gone. I know they got these youngsters.
Still got Timu Puki.
They've got Josh Sargent, these youngsters coming through and whatever, but I don't even think their squad is better than when they were last in the Premier League. So, the
only players that they've got is the Alonees and Brandon Williams and Billy Gilmore, but they're not even playing that much.
Right. So I think that for him to be getting any sort of results right now, it's fair play to him. You've got to give him credit, but you have to give him credit, but it doesn't mean that we shouldn't be expecting 3 points in this game 100%. Like, you should be expecting them to be up for a battle, but we should also be up for a battle. And once we win that battle, we should use our quality to turn them over. And we should, no doubt about it, we should be winning this game. I think that Brentford game should give us confidence in that if we stick to the structure and how we're playing, we will get good results. And I think hopefully that Brentford game should give the team confidence that when we come up against lesser teams like Norwich, you can trust our players a bit more and trust the structure, that if we just continue to outwork within this system, we will come through in this kind of game for sure.
Yeah. Last time they came to the Tottenham Stadium, beating us on penalties.
Yeah.
Obviously, that was under Jose Mourinho. Was it just before the lockdown? Was that Norwich?
Yeah.
just before the lockdown when Troy Parrott missed that penalty in the penalty shootout. But you're saying that we shouldn't expect a victory, but anything other than a victory would be pretty...
I said no. I said we should.
I thought you said we shouldn't.
Oh no! Of course we should. No, I never said that.
That's what I was thinking. I was like, what the hell are you talking about?
I never said we shouldn't expect. No, and of course we should.
That's what I was saying. Like anything other than a victory would be absolutely disastrous.
I never
Sunday.
said we shouldn't expect a victory. No, I would never say that against Norwich at home.
Yeah. So anything other than a win will be absolutely disastrous. When you're looking at the past kind of results, obviously we haven't played them that much in the last few years because they've been in the Championship. But that 22nd of January was the last time. Is that in the league when we beat them 2-1?
That's right.
And away we drew 2-2. So when you're looking at Norwich, how can they hurt us? Where do you think their biggest strengths are?
I think if they're compact and they catch team who look, Pukki's obviously their biggest threat, despite the fact I don't think he's anything other than an average Premier League striker. He is obviously their biggest threat, and if you allow him a bit too much space, and if you're not concentrating on him a bit, if there's a bit of lapse in concentration, then that's where they can hurt you. Like if they get him in behind, he is a decent finisher. So
and he's on form as well, as you can see, 3 goals in his last 4 matches.
See, exactly. So he's definitely one who you got to watch out for him. Todd Cantwell, don't know if he's injured or not. He's obviously one who has quality about him. So if you allow him a bit too much space, then he might be able to hurt you. But to be honest, like there aren't too many ways like that where I'm worried about them. Like they've got some decent players, but like our players are much better, head and shoulders above their players.
Man for man, every single one.
Yeah,
surely.
every single one. So you've got to think like. You've got to respect what they can do, but you can't give them too much respect whatsoever. You've got to make sure we're dominating the game, 100%. Dominating possession as well.
What are they doing differently under Dean Smith? What has caused this kind of upturn in form?
Well, under Farke, they were very much stuck to their principles of playing good football. Like no matter who they're playing or what. And it got them like some good results in their past. For example, remember that game they beat Man City 3-2. They played some really nice. They played some really nice football. So like they can play some nice football.
Was
but
that 2 years ago?
That was 2 years ago. I'm saying just in the past, right? They've played some really good stuff and they got the good results. But he's kind of very stubborn in his ways, Farke, and it did get them Norwich playing some good football. But unfortunately, when they came up against better opposition, which is pretty much every team in the Premier League, and they're trying to play good football, and as opposed to being a solid, difficult to beat side, right? Then pretty much more often than not, they were getting turned over because they're not especially strong. Their players that aren't especially technically better than any other players in the Premier League have to offer. So when they're trying to play this good football, they become extremely easy to play against because you can out-football them because you've got better players. And if you're a defensive side, it's very easy to counter-attack them because they're not very strong defensively. They know they're going to come out at you and try and play their football, and they're not especially good. Like technically, like they're not like exceptional going forward and like breaking up, opening you up and stuff like that. So if you're a defensive line, it's very easy to just sit back, wait for their mistake, and then pounce them and counter, and then their defense is open. So because of that, Farke's team just became extremely easy to play against. What Dean Smith has gone in, he's come in and said, "All right, look, we got to stop this. Like we got to stop playing in this way because we're not good enough to play in this way." So he's made them a much more difficult to beat side. That's why you're seeing 0-0s at the moment between Wolves and against I can't remember who has got 0-0 against recently.
Well, it was 1-1 against Newcastle.
1-1 against Newcastle, 0-0 against Wolves. It was they beat Southampton 2-1 as well. That was a game that I watched where they were very, very solid. It wasn't a game where they were dominating or anything. Very solid side. So he's got them to believe again that they can start getting results, that they're not just here in the Premier League to make up the numbers. And he's got them a lot more compact, a lot more difficult to play against, and a lot more difficult to beat, which we got to be wary of.
Yeah.
But if we dominate, 100% we should have the quality to open them up.
I mean, back on the Farke thing, the way he was doing his football for Norwich, I mean, in the Championship, you can do that with that quality. But in the Premier League, you're just going to get open up every single week.
It was naive.
And But
He
he
was
shouldn't be
naive.
because he's managed in the Premier League before and the exact
Yeah.
same thing happened.
He's just stubborn in his way. He's got a philosophy, and that's how he wants to play. And he's not good. He wasn't going to change that for anyone or anything. And you look, it's commendable one end, and obviously it's naive on another end. It's commendable because that's how he likes to play football. And to be fair to him, it got him promoted twice. You know, it clearly for how in terms of it, because if you look at their players, right. As we've said, it's a championship team, right? It's like a championship level team. There are probably championship teams who have a better squad than Norwich, to be honest. But it was his philosophy that set them apart and got them promoted. It wasn't anything else, but it wasn't the quality of Norwich that got them promoted. It was Farke. It was his philosophy. That was good
it
enough
was Skippy, mate.
and obviously Oliver Skip, of course. But it was his philosophy that got him promoted, and I think that shows he's a good level manager. But his philosophy wasn't enough to keep him in the Premier League because they didn't have when you come in the Premier League, it's different level. So that philosophy wasn't going to be enough to make up for the lack of quality in the squad. Whereas in the Championship, it was. So that was the difference. And you could probably say once he got to the Premier League, it was naive to continue playing in that way. But he believed in his methods, and rightly so, because they got him promoted twice.
But you know what they say, insanity is trying the same thing over and over again and expecting the same results. But he did expect the same results, and that's what they got at the end of the day.
No, but I feel bad for him because, as I said,
you have to find new methods of winning football games. If you're getting your asses handed to you every single game, you've got to try something new.
I get that, which is I do understand that what you're saying, but on the flip side, if you have a philosophy and then you change it because of the level of players you have, but that's not your philosophy. So you're very good at training the way you like to play, and so if you're gonna start changing that because of the opposition, you're not going to be as good because that's not how you like to play. You're not training the players.
If you're getting battered every game. What's
I
the
know,
difference?
but that's I think. Look, in terms of Norwich, I know they're having an uptick now, but I think it's just the level of players they have. What can he do? I know he could change it up and start playing defensive and start playing a lot more pragmatic, which maybe you could argue he should because of the level of play he has, but when I just feel like the gap in quality is so big, he might as well try and play football because they're going to go down anyway, kind of thing. And some managers are better adapting. Maybe that's a fault in Farke. He's not very good at adapting to the situation, but I commend him for how he tries to play football. And I'm not going to criticize him because the level at Norwich is very, very low, basically.
At the end of the day, I mean, he needed more from the owners there.
Yeah, exactly. He never got.
They didn't give him a chance, really. Let's
exactly.
be honest.
How can you expect to keep him up when the squad is worse than it was 2 years ago?
Yeah.
I felt bad for him. But Dean Smith is doing all right, to be fair, to get any results.
Look, they're having a bit of a manager bounce, but I do still expect them to go down.
Yeah, for sure. For sure.
So I think that when you're looking at Spurs coming into this weekend, how much rotation are you expecting on the weekend?
I think that it probably won't be too much. I think it's going to be similar.
So when do you think the rotation is going to start then?
Probably in the busy period. Right now, I know we're playing Thursday, Sunday, but you do that Europa League, don't you? So although we do tend to change, but I think we got the Europa League on Thursday, so
yeah,
I'm expecting a few changes there. And then
it gets busy after that with Brighton on the 12th, Leicester on the 16th, Liverpool on the 19th.
Right. So I'm expecting that's quite busy. So I'm expecting a few changes. Although 4 days is decent enough rest. 3 days
between Leicester and Liverpool, that's going to be a tough one.
It's going to be a tough one. And you don't really want to be making changes for the Liverpool game. You want your first 11 for that one. So
Leicester away as well. You pretty much want your first team there too.
Yeah, but if you're going to rest for one of them,
it's probably going to be Leicester, yeah,
isn't it? So I don't expect changes on Sunday. To be honest, I think it's probably going to be the same team, the team he trusts at the moment. But I think once it gets to that busy period, especially when it's Christmas time, you've got to expect changes then.
Yeah. All right. What score prediction are you going for this weekend?
I'm going to go for 2-0.
Yeah, I was thinking 2-0 as well. I think that if our defence steps up like they did last night, and the structure of the team is the same, with Reguilon bombing up and Højbjerg and Skip playing really well, Kane putting in those passes throughout the middle of the park, and Sonny looking as sharp as he did, I think that we should really dispatch of them 2 or 3-0 on the weekend.
Yeah, you got to expect that. You got to expect that, especially after the win against Brentford. There's also also looking at the league table, how it's opened up again, and we're not in a bad position now. Like in terms of we've got 4th in our own hands at the moment because we've got the game in hand. I know it's still very tight. Man United obviously winning, and they're looking like they might come back strong as well, because just the quality they have in their squad. It's probably just a matter of time before they start playing well. But we have to have confidence in ourselves at the moment, and Conte, I'm sure, will instill that confidence in the team. And if we can go on a bit of a run, maybe that 4th spot is there for us. I mean, it's going to be tough because I think Man United, I mean, even though they had such a bad one under Ollie, with a new manager, new ideas, and the talent they have, it's just supreme, isn't it? They've got a more talented squad than us. I can't deny that. So if they start playing well, it's going to be difficult to overcome them. But just got to hope that maybe it's going to take time for them to under Rangnick.
Let's hope so. But Sim's going 2-0. I think I'm going to go 3-0 in this one. And yeah, I want to know your score predictions in the comment section below. But that is our match preview of the Norwich game this weekend. What time's kickoff? Is it 2 o'clock?
2 o'clock.
2 o'clock kickoff at the Tottenham Hotspur Stadium on Sunday. So yeah, that is our match preview. So I think that draws a conclusion to the stream today. We'll see you. We've got a lot of content coming out today. Player ratings and the 5 takeaways coming your way very soon. And then we'll come back live at some point today, probably around 3 or 4 o'clock, for the pre-match fan show, where we'll get you guys' opinions on the game this weekend against Norwich. But thank you everyone for joining us today. We'll see you all very soon. Like, subscribe and comment. And as always,
come on you Spurs.